All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is bright. Actually, not bright at all. It is 12 a.m. Thursday, October 8th, 2020, here in the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California, to be exact. We have a very special guest with us today. This is somebody who's using his energy and his music to make a positive change and a positive influence in communities and the behavior of others and addressing inhumane conditions here in the United States. Please welcome Fonzo from Free Minds. Thank you for being here. But so can you tell us a little bit about what is No More Kids in Cages?
No More Kids in Cages. It's like a statement to address what migrants are going through as they try to seek asylum here in our country. There's a broken system, and just through me, by coming across certain things you read on the internet, whether it's a meme or an article, whatever I came across, I don't know the exact one, but I started like, well, what's this, and you start reading, you're reading, and it's like, man, stuff keeps popping up. And then the Kids in Cages comes up. It's like, man, they're really putting kids in cages. And then it's like, okay, well, it's so like twisted, because you think kids in cages, you think, well, dang, animals in cages, like why would they do that to kids? And then you realize the kids in cages is one thing, but it has to do with like families being separated, and then the kids being taken from their parents, and then put into what they said, the lady said in Congress, was fenced enclosures. They're not cages, they're fenced enclosures.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, and see, it's not just the cages though, because at the root of everything, No More Kids in Cages was like, it's weird to have to say that is trying to be like, hey, can you please not do that to kids no more?
Right.
That's not nice, which, I mean, it seems common sense, you know what I mean? And on top of that, it's like, it's addressing the issue, because when people say, well, what does that mean? Like when you ask me, I can say, well, there's children being molested by the contractors, whoever they're hiring. There's no accountability, just like when you see with like what we're going through with regular police. There's a police, they have like whatever, what we say is no accountability for police. Then you got ICE and Department of Homeland Security, and the contractors have even less accountability. So it like goes even deeper, because you got people coming to this country, and they're just going, there's the allegations of women getting hysterectomies, and then not even knowing that that's what they're going to get. And all it took was for a nurse to speak up, because you got to think like,
and not even knowing though, you said, well, like they didn't know what was going to happen, and they just went in there and got a hysterectomy performed on them.
Yeah, so there was like the lady I read, she was supposed to have a cyst removed from one of her ovaries, and the doctor removed one ovary and then the wrong one, so then he still had to remove the one that had the cyst. So then in turn, she was already,
she didn't have any eggs left.
Yeah, and she still wanted to have kids. So, and then there's like, it's hard to say, because then you go into the conspiracy, people say eugenics and all these things. I don't like to touch on that, but I want to, it's like, well, why is this happening? Like, how can they, I mean, you're a woman, right? So it's like any woman watching this and seeing this can go, a hysterectomy is like a major surgery. It's a big deal. It's not like,
it's life-changing.
Yeah, so it's like, I couldn't imagine, like, if I went under any kind of surgery and they removed they removed my freaking balls or something, and I was like, what?
Right. It's like you missing some shit in your body, right?
And like, oh, well, it just like, people don't understand, like, it's, and so here's the thing though too, is tied into that, there was witnesses within those facilities, and there was so we have this thing, it's called like it's the 1951 International Refugee Convention.
Okay.
It was an agreement between all the countries that any person that's fleeing persecution or torture has the ability to go to another country and plead their case to avoid being sent back if they're fleeing like a dictatorship, anything that's going to harm them. They can plead their case to
the U.S.
Yeah, to U.S.
And seek asylum and safety and housing, like basically welfare.
Yeah, or just at least have an opportunity, like to assimilate to the culture, but definitely not get sent back. You know,
right.
So
and it's funny you say that because even when I first got back in 2018, one of the girls I worked with was from El Salvador.
Okay.
And she said that she had to walk and seek asylum in this country 8 years ago, and she still doesn't speak fluent English.
Yeah.
And she had to adjust her Spanish.
Yeah.
But she's a cook here. Her and her husband are both cooks here, and they've been living here and with their daughter for these 8 years. She carried her daughter here with her, and her husband joined after.
Yeah.
So they left there because El Salvador was in war, and she didn't want her child to be killed or raped.
Yeah.
And that's why she came here.
So that's the thing though too, is like I'll touch on that though, because so me starting to uncover things myself. I'm reading stuff that's like direct reports from Border Patrol, Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and they're not necessarily denying stuff. They're not giving all the information, but if you look, it's there. They're straight government reports, you know. And it's like, the thing is, when you have someone go speak to millions of people, and they say, "Oh well, we're protecting you guys from MS-13 and cartels, so this is why we need to do this." So when you hear these things, even myself too, like the first one I heard was when they said that that lady, she got MS-13, someone killed her in San Francisco, and it was all over the news. So then fear mongering is like, okay, so you hear about these things, and I think subconsciously people go, oh, okay, well, thank you for doing this to these cartel members and these MS-13 members or gang members. And then we tie it back into what you said about someone coming here there to cook with their kid. They're just trying to like start a new life. Like they're getting paid maybe under the table. And then on top of this, see, here's the thing people don't understand. I had this conversation with somebody. We went back and forth, and they were like, because there was this big old thing about how Mr. Trump paid like $750, and they were saying, well, the undocumented paid X amount. They're like, well, they don't even pay taxes because they don't have a social security number. Here's the thing: this is what we fight back with doing these rallies and these demonstrations by educating people that the undocumented folks, our government gives them an ITIN number to pay taxes. You know, so that it's like our government knows they're undocumented, but they still provide them with the number. I don't know the whole process. That's something I want to look into even more.
But they still try to put them on paper and record and document the wages and things they earn and pay here.
They'll still take their money, but then they're still they're not necessarily citizens, so they're still at risk to get deported. So, so the whole no more kids in cages, it's like I was trying to find middle ground, because the whole thing I realized coming into this, I started getting pulled into politics, and to me it's a humanitarian issue. It has to do with children, families, men, women, you know, that are all being violated. So like some of our demands, if you read it, it's like, okay, we want them to make sure they're getting adequate food and medical attention. It's like, well, duh. It's like, well, hold on. They're not always getting that. So it's like, we're just asking for basic necessities, you know, to make sure that the facilities are clean. And then it's like across the board, it's like accountability.
Yeah, you got to have daily reports that these children are being fed, that they are given time to take a bath, that they are safely sleeping in areas where adults cannot molest them or other children. You know what I'm saying? Or things like that. And where an adult can supervise and make sure, hey, you know, leave them alone, no fighting, no touching, no you know, things like that. And especially, I don't understand is why would they group together an entire, like a mass incarceration during an airborne respiratory disease that requires you to stay 6 to 10 feet apart. And their minimum is 6. It's recommended 10 plus. that the coronavirus can travel in the air for 10 feet before gravity begins pulling it to the ground.
So another one of our demands was for them to provide COVID-19 testing stuff.
Yeah.
Because right now, it's widespread in those facilities. There's like 200 some facilities. So here's the thing too is a lot of the kids when they come. So here's the thing though too. This is the other thing I'm trying to kill too is you got a family comes. You got like the child comes with their legal guardian. They get to the border. They get separated, and then they get labeled unaccompanied. And then the parents get labeled, you know, it was a misdemeanor before, now it's a criminal offense if they come illegally, supposedly illegally. I mean, then you go back to, well, who made the laws? That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
Laws are man-made, you know. What marijuana was this serious offense, and now it's being decriminalized.
That's right. But, free the pot dealers.
Thank you. But I mean, who made the law?
Right.
You know, so how did someone made it a misdemeanor, then someone changed it to a criminal offense? So you got all these kids that are coming with their families. And it's like, hold up. They came with somebody and you're labeling them unaccompanied. Why are you doing that? And that's where it gets kind of devious to think, why are you manipulating truth and facts?
Yeah, and the reports, that's the reports being mishandled.
Yeah.
You're not receiving the intake properly. You're not documenting your undocumented immigrants. Yeah.
And so here's the other thing too, is for some reason, Border Patrol has reports, so they're like the main handlers as soon as they get everybody, right? The USCIS, they handle the paperwork. So then sometimes, depending on how they want, someone could be waiting for a green card or a visa. They could stall and make these people wait for months, years, and they're in control of that, whether they're biases, they're getting direction from someone else. So Border Patrol separates the kids from their parents, and then the kids get sent to like these kind of foster facilities. So they go to the foster facilities, and you would think they know that these kids came with parents, and the foster facilities have to go, hey, did you come with your parents? Where are your parents at? And it's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, that's more or less from what I'm understanding is how it works. And it's like, why don't they say, hey, this person came with their family? It's like, but if you go like the underlying thing, like I talked about the other day, it's all about money. Like each migrant that comes, they have a price attached to them where our tax dollars pay. So check this out: if someone is getting molested or abused, we unknowingly are paying for that to happen. Our tax dollars are contributing to that. Like these GEO, Core Civic, private prison corporation facilities that they run, we pay for those. You know, we pay for all that. And so that's why it's like, by letting people know that these things are happening, it's like, well, why don't our tax dollars be redistributed to having inspectors go in there to make sure this isn't happening? Because I don't care what color you are. If it was like, I'm Mexican, right? But it's not the fact if it's indigenous. It could be there's a lot of black folks that are in those places too. If it was a bunch of overly white people, I'd still be like, hey man, kids are people are people. You know what I mean?
And I believe you, and I believe you because when we see on the news that an Amish community was discovered in the woods, everybody is, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we see on the news, there was a fucking incestual cousin marrying secret Christian pagan woods where everybody, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa, what do they look like? Are they pilgrims? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But why is it that when it comes to disrespecting brown people whose ancestry roots grew from this land, that we don't say, whoa, what the fuck is corporate government America doing to this brown community?
Yeah.
And these children, why is nobody amazed that it's over 1,000 children, 1,500, something like that?
Oh man, so here's where it gets. So there was a stretch where there was like 4,500 allegations of different and various abuses, ranging from people in the facilities watching children go to the restroom, being molested, abused, all these things, right? So it goes from 4,500, and then they start reducing the number to where it ended up under like around 1,000, maybe less. And I think who was in charge of throwing those out the window to say nothing happened? You know, like, because it started at 4,500, and people use that number, but then if you really look deep, they started reducing it to less and less. There was only so many serious allegations. I was like, but how do you say, like, how do
they're not serious? And then how can you say that the rest of those children in the same vicinity of where it actually happened do not now feel threatened and endangered? And
and it's like, so where do the guards go? Like, what's happened to them? Are they like, do they have to register with Megan's Law? Or like, what happened to them? Are they still working there? Are they at another facility? Like, see, there's all these things, and it all goes back to accountability. Like, it's not, for me, it's like any job you have, anything. If you work at freaking a freaking Food for Less and you're working at the register, if your till's under so many times or whatever it is, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you're not fulfilling your responsibilities, at some point they're probably gonna have that talk with you, like, hey sir, you can't work here no more. You know, and we're just talking about like a cash register. So I would imagine, and I mean, I don't want to put this like, okay, there are good police officers, I'm sure there's good people that work within these places, but it's like, for the ones that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, like basically murdering all these people on the street, they're police officers and they're not following protocol, or if it's someone that's got child molestation allegations, like, how can that not be addressed to where, hey man, we can't have molesters in these places. I'm sorry. Like, and it's not even like, say, it's like, why, I don't get why, hey, that's like, what are we protecting? Like, are we like protecting child molesters and murderers now and then putting them over humanity? Man. And then that's where like the no more kids in cages ties back in again. It's like, no more not caring. Like, we got to care more about these things, like, and start raising awareness, because if we're not saying this and we're not saying Black Lives Matter, see, that's the other one too. Why do we have to say that? Like, it should be common sense.
Right. Why do we have to say investigate the molestation, the sexual charge, of the claims of kids? Why do we have to say Black people matter? Why do we have to say the United States used to be Mexico and these Latin people are from here and originated here, and we don't have the right to kick them out of the land that they were born on? You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're 100,000 islands like the Philippines where I was born. Okay. We're not 100,000 islands in separate lands and entities. We're a big ass chunk of continent with imaginary lines drawing separating states, but we're all one big ass land in which groups of people and communities argue and vote on how they want to act and behave every day to day. Why can we not wrap our head around the fact that children and Latin Americans deserve the opportunity to earn a living and have a future? Why don't we give them a chance? Why is it that we have to tell them, oh, you're not American already, so you can't be in here with us? Matter of fact, y'all got to get out. Well, they're already here and they're working.
They're paying taxes.
And they're purchasing here. They're going to school here. I read some of them served in the military and still was deported because they didn't really have a green card. And their children, and their children were born here, and their mother owns a house here. And the children have went to school and graduated from school, and their father was not able to attend the graduation because he'd been deported. But he served and put his life on the line and signed the contract that, yes, I will go stand and go to war on behalf of this country. However, he couldn't even see his own daughter graduate that was born in this country and raised here.
And see, that the part though, it's like I know we have all these systems set in place. Like there's a Republican, Democrats, the two big things. They're trying to throw other parties in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I don't care what party I would ever associate with. I will always focus on humanity. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. You're not supposed to molest kids. You know, if someone's gonna fight for our country, they should be allowed to, by them risking their lives, to have some kind of extra
vote or something.
Something like let them stay. Like they earned their spot.
Why is it you can serve and complete your tour in the military, but they will not award you a green card?
Yeah.
But they'll award you a medal for murdering another foreigner.
Yeah. And see, the thing too is, like, we got the election coming up. Yes. Let's say if Biden gets elected, the whole no more kids in cages doesn't go away. If in 4 years he gets elected again or someone else there, it doesn't stop whatever party's in office. It's about raising awareness. So to anything, any cause we have,
exactly.
If we get enough people united to say enough is enough, it'll be enough, because there's more of us than the wealthy. You know, so even this call to action, I realized I get dragged into politics. I was like, man, it's not a political issue.
I got some. I get comments on that all day, but you know,
yeah.
But we need you to care about that too.
But here's the thing, though, is it turns into like it's a shot against Mr. Trump, and I'm like, well, and then they go, well,
but isn't he building the wall and furthering, increasing immigration protocols and requirements, and then accusing everybody to be cartel members and keeping everybody out will prevent the crime.
But see, it's not so much about like I said, if he's out of office, policies, all these other underlings, they still exist. But there's so many.
And let me tell you this too: them cartels that he's talking about and drugs. Them drugs are bought with American money, not Mexican money. But yeah.
But see, it's like, it's not so much as an attack on him. It's more trying to raise awareness for everybody to want this to change. Because here's the thing I brought up the other day. It's like there's so many people that start jumping up in defense. Oh, and I'm like, whoa, dude, relax. No, you're not. And I'm like, hold up. You are so like overqualified for your normal citizenship.
Right.
What you need to do is go sign up for the Secret Service, and you can protect this fool 24/7 and take a bullet for him and get paid for that.
Because you love him so much.
Yeah, you're like, you're defending him. You know, I don't understand it. Like, it's just full blown. I hope you defend your family like that. It's crazy. Like, and it trips me out, because that's why it's like, I try to say, and it's not even like a fight against our white brothers and sisters either, because you've been out there too when we're at the marches and protests. There's all of us out there. I don't even want to cause a divide to think like
no, you know what though?
They're not there. I grew up around middle class to poor folks that was all colors. So I know that there are some white folks that are going through it too that aren't part of the wealth. Like, we're a two-class system right now.
The lower class, lower class is a rainbow of colors.
Yeah.
And in the protests, there's also children in there.
Yeah.
Children that are the same ages as the children that were protesting for you to let go.
Yeah.
And earn an education and eat and sleep safely around normal kids their age, and not be around overbearing policing aggressor adults that are there to investigate and poke and pull and bother and stir up. What's the dust in the information? Where did you come from? Who are you? Who's your parents? What are they doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why they're trying to build a case as opposed to caring for a child and ensuring their safety.
Yeah.
And that's not right. Children are not meant to be subjected to the system. So, the systemic aggressions are traumatic.
Yeah.
They're very traumatic because it makes kids think that they did something wrong.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing though, is when this comes up, I've heard it enough times ago, well, it's their parents' fault, their shitty ass parents, whoop, 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 all these things.
Shouldn't have brought them to the country. They knew what they were doing.
I still go, okay. But here's the thing though, is however you want to twist it and word it, that doesn't justify for kids to be molested. There's nothing.
Y'all
there
heard
is
that?
nothing that ever justifies a child being molested or abused. I don't care if they're.
You better let them date. You better let them date a teenager they fucking age, and you don't fucking go in there and you don't put your perversions onto children.
No, there's no way you could ever convince me that that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, so my whole thing, no more kids in cages, it means we could do better. This is 2020. Like, this is crazy. Like, there's no way we should even be talking about this. We should be talking about, like, trying to have communities where we, like, grow our own food and all these things, peace and love, and trying to enhance society. And we're still, like, on these things where we're stuck on, like, colors and then inhumane things where, and it's all tied to money. It's all tied to money. Like, there was a family program they had to where I always forget the name. In 2016 they got rid of it in favor of pushing policy for mass detention. You know, and it's all behind money. Some people say okay because they got the Stephen Miller guy in there, he's supposedly a racist guy, I don't know, but it's like, okay, put all the race stuff aside, there's still the money there. Like, it's just like, that's where I've been talking about a lot about this two-class system we're in right now. Like, it's the wealthy and then us, like all colors. And even it
really is though. It's everybody who makes less than $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Versus everybody who make more than that a year.
Yeah.
And the people who make more than that are trying to get to a millionaire status. If you're between 100,000 and 999,000, you're still considered under a millionaire. You don't have to pay the millionaire taxes.
They're still with us too. Those 100,000aires,
they are.
They're still part of our.
They don't have control and powers as the what is it? The 5 to 1%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just crazy because my protest. The reason why they say there's no bad protest in a revolution is because while we're talking about Black Lives Matter and police brutality and the senseless and careless ending of lives, we're also talking about, with no more kids in cages, the uprooting and destroying and dismantling of lives and futures. And all of it goes back to government agencies that want to physically assault or sexually assault minorities. For what purpose? You will not let them earn a green card. You will not let them earn an education here. You will not let them purchase property and file taxes and open businesses here. But you will let them sign up to go to war. You will imprison them along with the low-life criminals. And you'll detain them and uproot their lives and kick them out. And you'll attack them and molest them. But you will not give them a sign of hope and positivity or help to become a complete or healed or healthy family or situation. And it's not nothing. That's why I get mad too when a lot of people tell me, oh, if you don't like your situation, change it. I don't have other routes and opportunities to spend time and money into that's going to take me to a better place. Neither do these children or these poor, lower class working American families. They don't have other routes or avenues. They don't have no extra rich friends to help them. They're being trafficked through systems that don't save us. I want to go and take this opportunity to take a really quick break and show them the merchandise you brought. And play the trailer. And then after we play the trailer for the video, or whatever, we'll go to the next questions and stuff like that. But I think just to recap what we just went over, No More Kids in Cages is a movement. Yeah. A movement that's making demands for humane treatment.
Yeah, basic humane treatment. Right. Like, not even asking.
And the verification.
If you're not going to abolish ICE, then you have to meet us somewhere in the middle. You have to give food. But you have to give these people that come to this country the same things you give an American citizen
Right.
child molester.
Right.
You are giving a child molester that's American citizen that you're giving them more rights than someone that's just trying to come here for a better life. You have a government agency that was formed to fight terrorism, treating migrants like terrorists. Like basically, they treat them on the same level as someone in Guantanamo Bay, and I just don't think. I don't think it's right, you know. So we're setting up these rallies city to city. We did Stockton, Sacramento,
Yes.
Fresno's next.
Excellent.
And we're going to keep going and educating and spreading the truth because these people don't have a voice right now. So I'm going to be the voice. Whoever's with me is going to be the voice. And we're going to spread the truth. And if I don't get to the end to figure this out, someone else can pick it up. But it's all about us coming together and just starting to care again. Because right now, this lack of love stuff we have in the world is allowing these things to happen. And it's not loving each other on a small level to where it goes to the higher level to where these people just completely don't care. So for doing these rallies and doing these, this basically what it is though, it's a random act of kindness. We're going city to city. Like I don't want nothing in return. I might not ever meet none of these people, but by me speaking up, hopefully someone gets moved and passionate enough about it to do something to change it, you know, because it has to stop. We can do better. Like there's no way around it to this is acceptable, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Right. So no more kids in cages, like he just said, y'all. It's a group and a movement going from city to city, rallying and protesting, and it's yelling at the top of their lungs and demanding justice and humane circumstances.
And the thing too I want to add though is I'm dedicated to peace. So we have been peaceful. We will be peaceful. We will be spreading love.
That's right.
Tolerance, understanding, compassion, empathy, all these things that I think that it would help just anyone, you know. And I made that commitment to stay peaceful through all this to get our message across. So if you see
it's a peaceful protest.
Yeah, peaceful protest. If you see a No More Kids in Cages rally in your city and it's got the Free Minds logo on there, then it's you already know what it's going to be about. We're going to be there educating people. We're all inclusive of all colors. You know, we want everybody to come and just hear what we got to say and join us, because this is a fight for humanity. It's not against any particular color or anything like that. And like I said, I love my white brothers and sisters. You know, I've been out there and they've been out there marching, protesting with us. And I think sometimes I wouldn't want them to think that I'm excluding them because we'll say black and brown and all these things. And they might think, what about us? Because they're out there with us too. But just sometimes we're going through stuff and we're trying to fight for our own things. And then I think even myself, I forget, well, man, they're out here too. They're out here with even if maybe they're not going through it, they felt compelled enough to come out here and shoot. If we're going to get beat up, they're going to get beat up with us too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know.
That's right. I do want to raise awareness that our progressive 2020 United States of America has educated, modern, compassionate, and loving pale-skinned Americans, okay? From Asians and Chinese back in the day, Chinese people used to not get along. There's Pacific Islander Chinese moms out there with signs that say for Black Lives Matter, for Black and Brown Pride, for things like this in the community. They're doing things like when they call for justice for Breonna Taylor, the EMT who was killed over the summer. They're also mentioning Vanessa Gillen, the soldier who signed up to be all she could be and filed 2 counts of sexual misconduct and went missing, and justice was never served for her. They're fighting for Black and brown. They're fighting for humanity, for justice, for the underdog, and for the abused, and for the weak, and for the mistreated, and now also for the silenced and for the dead. We're out here marching because white people don't want to be considered racist. White people don't want to be affiliated with hate and aggression. white people, especially these young people that want to have babies still, and these women, okay, that have mixed children, these mothers, they're concerned. We've seen a line and a ring of white mothers protecting black protesters. Y'all, these issues and protests are not, especially in the case of illegal immigrants, because they can't vote, but you can. This is not specific to one gender, to one race, or to one cause. This is a fight to make the law and the authority in this country care about preserving life as opposed to disrupting and ending it and abusing it, and especially children. In this case, thank you so much for what you do for the children. I want to show them. We do have on the show every day almost the No More Kids in Cages shirt back here, because like I say, Fonzo has been putting in a lot of work, and we definitely support him, even if we cannot do things ourselves with our own two hands and our own budget. We definitely want to get the message out, because somebody that can do something is gonna hear. Somebody that can do something that's being distracted and protected and their power abused somewhere else, they can focus that energy on these issues and find results that we cannot. And it starts with legal organizations, law firms, attorneys, state attorney generals, and voters. It's very important. When we come back from the song, we will get more into the politics side as well, and the music, and how it plays into this. But first, I want to show you also the free mask, the Free Minds brand, all about thinking for yourself, following your own heart and intuition.
That free, it stands for faith, respect, everyone, everywhere. And it also, like you said, it's thinking independently, accepting ideas, patience, tolerance, understanding. The free, it's a state of mind.
Right.
It's not letting anybody occupy your headspace, because a lot we live in our heads for most of our lives. You know what I mean?
I definitely do, because I'm a creator and I start things from scratch.
So that's and it's also too not letting anybody take your happiness away.
That's right.
So
that is. These are beautiful masks and designs. I want you to know. freeyourselffellowship.com.
Yeah, I got merchandise on there. I'm updating a lot of the music stuff so that you can get some music on there.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. And also, when I asked No More Kids in Cages, he said, we do have demands that you can read. And they are printed here on the flyer, on the back. But I'm going to show you the front, which is the flyer for 11/21/2020.
And those demands are basic.
Right.
And I'm not laughing because it's not funny, but it's like, damn, like, why do you got to ask? Like, we're just asking for basic things, and I don't understand how there could be any objection to the basics.
Right. No more kids in cages. The demands are access to COVID-19 testing, access to medical doctors and medications, access to legal representation, social workers, attorneys, public servants. This is the part where you're supposed to step up. Hold DHS, ICE, BPS, GEO, Corps, Civic, and other private contractors accountable for molestations, abuses, unwarranted sterilization in women, and other crimes against humanity. So basically, it's sexual abuse to the children, as well as aggressive intimidation. And it's also these are both to be crimes. These are crimes, y'all. These are things that are not legal in America. If you, as a regular citizen, went and touched a child, you'll be a sex offender by the end of the
You have
day.
to register too.
If you, as an American doctor, perform a hysterectomy, remove the ovaries out of a human being, you are now organ trafficking. These are so illegal. Unwarranted sterilization and other crimes against humanity, y'all. Respect religious beliefs and gender identity. If there are teens, emotional teens, growing, hormonal, not knowing what they're going through, don't further traumatize them and demand that they identify as what you tell them to be. Put our tax dollars into task force and have individuals assigned to each facility. This is for accountability. This is for daily reports that every child has been fed, that every child was showered, that every child is safe and not touched and not being touched and not touching. Okay? They're getting regular bathroom breaks and their medication, and they're able to communicate with their families and get home. What's going on? Allow weekly unannounced visits and make all findings public. Once again, that would be auditing and what they call just the same as the health department inspections, things like that. Those are so necessary in mass incarcerations, especially with children. Children not clean.
It's like if people want to say this is a conspiracy, it's not going on, then why not let people do that? And then you could see, like, why not make these findings public? Why not have an inspector at each facility? People gotta ask themselves that, all politics aside, our tax dollars are contributing to this. When you see something on the news, whether you want to believe it or not, you can sleep at night, that's cool. But you got to ask yourself, why would they not want people to go in there and check? That's what you really got to ask.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I know why I wouldn't want anyone to come in here and check my stuff, because I don't want people touching my shit and then I can't find it later. But the government, though, them kids need to be accounted for. You know? All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the video. We do have the trailer for the kids.
Yep.
Do you want to speak about this video and let them know, like, how it came about?
So it started out as a poem, like the bridge part, the world needs you dreamer, the world needs you lover, the world needs you peacemaker, without you we're in trouble. Started out as like a small, like, short poem that I was going to expand on. And then this guy sent me a beat in the process of, I used to write a lot. And as I heard the beat, that tied into a bridge, and the hook came, and it just kind of just flowed together, And I was saying this other day, it was so divine the way the process went, because it wasn't like I plotted to try to advocate for children and then made a song to go with it. Like, I had the song, and then as I started getting deeper into the rallies, I remember listening to the song going, oh man, what we could do is use this song, and then I can make a music video and raise awareness.
That's right.
To give a visual and let people know, like, this is what's going on, And it's kind of cool that by trying to do the right thing, I feel like speaking up for people and making it, because the song in itself, without any no more kids in cages, is still a positive song, trying to uplift people and encourage people, to be positive and uplift themselves, and stuff like that. But it made sense. No more kids in cages. I already had a song called for the kids to time together, because it just made sense. So
yeah. Okay, so basically an idea that got powered into a video by the protests and causes, basically, and the No More Kids in Cages movement.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, without further ado, y'all, let's take a listen to this short minute long video, and then we'll play the full song at the end of the podcast, just so you can have it displayed on here as well, y'all. This is For the Kids by Fonzo of Free Minds, filmed here in Stockton, I believe.
Actually, you're in the video.
Yeah.
You were there. She was there. She was there.
So yeah, I didn't like I don't know all the details. I just know that there was a protest with the video people there. So we definitely came for that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just specifically for the video.
But see, the thing though is if you were gonna go just to go, like that's what I so much commend and respect you, because I've seen you out there in the streets out in Stockton, out there like using your voice, marching, protesting in tears, because I know that your heart's into.
See, don't make me cry.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they need to understand though, like, as far as like you playing your part to use your voice, which everybody could do if they're having something, you could go show up and just play your part. Like I've said it a million times, like when there's some going down, like a fire. You know,
I was doing so good today.
Trying to evacuate people from the building. You know, you need people to hold the hose, the ladder, people to rush in. You know, everybody plays a part. It's a machine. We're going there together to let people know, like, enough is enough. So you went there not knowing this was going to happen. You went there because you felt compelled to speak up for the kids. I seen you out there with the Black Lives Matter stuff too.
Right.
So I mean, that's something that needs to be known, that you've been a stand-up person out there.
Because there's the thing,
you know, raise awareness too. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you for that, and I really thank you. And really is, you know, I wouldn't be able to attend and march with if you didn't make the march possible. And I want to thank you as well for the work that you're doing in this community. And the thing is, I show up because I'm a vocalist and expression is my job, correct? So if I'm going to speak and express my feelings on a song, why can I not do that for the sake of to save a life? Why could I not? And aside from that, the people who are in power, who have the ability to fight and change these things, they're not going to march with us or lend an ear to listen, to hear what it is that we're crying about. We have to bring it to them. That's why I create these podcasts. That's why we stream the protests, and that's why I spam the information out to you all. Because the fight is not just protesting. The fight is protesting and stopping what they're doing. If we do not stop and direct their funding and attention to the solution, then we're just further spending taxpayers' money. And constant protesting. It took New York 6 months to get their chief of police to retire and his staff to resign after a naked man in handcuffs with a bag over his head in police custody was allowed to die in the middle of the street. Because he was high, y'all. Not because he was murdering somebody or raping somebody or trafficking somebody or harvesting their organs, specifically ovaries. George Floyd was died over a fraudulent $20 bill. Eric Garner died from a chokehold for selling cigarettes. Sandra Bland died because she was scared to get caught with a bag of weed. There are people locked up now, honey, that really cook meth and really do drug cartel things that are not, you know what I'm saying? There are people locked up now who really do that, that deserve to be locked up. But y'all are blaming it on Mexican traffic, though, when it's American money that's purchasing the drugs. But y'all just gonna act like you didn't catch American people trying to traffic drugs and build a wall and blame it all on Mexico? I don't think so. All right, without further ado, y'all, we're gonna watch this because there's no reason for these children and minors to keep suffering their quality of life due to the crimes that our government thinks the adults are doing. Y'all check out For the Kids by Fonzo.
move. I'm just trying to live. Let me breathe. Let me live. I'm just trying to live. Get something and give. I just want to leave a better way for the kids. Okay. I'm just trying to live in every day. It's the best to do. I'm just trying to live. Let me breathe. Let me live. I just want to live. Get something and give. I just want to leave a better way for the kids. Okay.
The world needs you dreamer. The world needs you lover. The world needs you peacemaker. Without you, we in trouble. The world needs you dreamer. The world needs you lover. The world needs you peacemaker. Without you, we in trouble.
So the finished video, is it gonna have facts displayed in the video?
It's gonna have facts.
Is that what I just saw there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's potent.
Facts. It was. I didn't want to overwhelm my heart's so tied into the cause, but I know some people want to hear the music, so I try to even it out because I know some people. And it's fine though too, because I'm not gonna judge nobody. I know everybody's got different things they got going. Some people don't have time to care, and I've accepted that. But some people, I left the facts there because I feel like I can't. I got to use my voice to spread awareness. So I want to be as respectable as I can to everybody. But at the same time too, if you're gonna follow what I do, I'm always gonna try to show something out there, throw something out there to spread awareness. So I try to do a nice balance of trying to spread awareness and then also, kind of showing you the moment of the protest that we had to capture the moment and then capture the song too, because it all ties together. But the facts though, I'm hoping people really catch on to that because you can go look and it's all there. And there's even, so here's the other thing too, is there was like six kids. There was a break from 2008 to 2018 to where no minors had died in custody. And then from 2008. So here's the thing too, is we're going with information that's like, they're going through the reports from 2018 to where they were talking about the family separations. We're in 2020. So we're just catching up to what happened 2 years ago. So in 2022, we'll have reports about what's happening now. We're always behind on information when information gets released. So, but yeah, those 6 kids died from, it was like the flu, just things. So here's the thing though, too, this brought me to tears. There was a 16-year-old kid, he had the flu, and instead of them taking him to a doctor or giving him medicine or a hospital, they put him in a cell with another kid that had the flu, and that poor kid died in that cell. Nobody checked on him, and it's heartbreaking. So for those 6 kids, I try to just pay my respects to them in the video by putting their name, and also just to really bring to life, it goes back to this, we could do better.
Like they would be here.
Yes.
They would be here if somebody gave a crap about being a good person in these situations. They would still be here today.
Like it was like a 2.5-year-old, like all these crazy things. My son's he just turned 9.
Man,
I couldn't imagine, me trying to go to another country like Canada, and then they separated us, and then my son caught a cold, and then he died because they didn't want to give him medical attention. I would have to think, I would know that I made that decision for a better life to basically risk everything. People think, are they risking everything to just come to Disneyland and stuff and see the Statue of Liberty? Like, why are they going to come here where people already have a bad opinion? Like, they're obviously coming here for something. They're either fleeing something, lack of resources, running from cartels. I've talked to other organizations to where there's times where sometimes the cartels are putting you're either in or you're out for the kids, and then so the parents are deciding, I don't want my child to be in a cartel, so they're fleeing to come here. And then I think deep down they know that they're either going to make it and then be able to have a life under the radar, or they might get into one of these situations, the detention centers, where I'm sure by now, because if you look even further with the reports that are coming out from like Jeff Sessions and everyone else, they were doing this as a deterrent to try to stop the people from coming, but at the same time too, I think they didn't want so many to come because they need just enough to fill those facilities. Because Jeff Sessions was invested in one facility that after he stopped being the whatever position he was in the White House, he had money invested in one of these facilities, and he was also one of the people that helped influence the zero tolerance policy. So it's kind of weird how you look at like.
And then another thing too, when you mentioned if we were to go to Canada and they separated our kids from our parents and put us in detention centers and denied us food and healthcare and raped our babies, we went. Let me tell you something about Canada. They have free healthcare only if you're a citizen. And if you're a Canadian citizen and you marry an American citizen, the American citizen does not become a Canadian citizen or receive free healthcare or spousal benefits. They still have to pay exponential amounts for the things that their healthcare covers it out there. Now, imagine Canada, they speak French and English. They got a heavy accent and they're hella cold, but they got Denny's up there, bro. Like,
I love Denny's.
They made Drake and shit. You know what I'm saying? Drake came from there. Like, they're not that different. We have more in common with Canada than Mexico has with America. And Canada will not allow us free healthcare. But imagine if we went to Canada and they did the same thing to us that we're doing to Mexico, because Mexico was here before both the United States and Canada. And Mexico, before we was here, Mexico had and indigenous Native American Indians had the freedom to be nomadic, to be farmers, to be sailors or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hunters.
I think that needs to be recognized too, as far as like, it's not, I know some people, and I guess we could say Caucasian white folks who want to say, well, that I didn't do that, I didn't have slaves.
Yeah, but European descendants.
That's fine, but at least acknowledge that it happened.
Right.
Because here's the thing that I think, this is the way I connected it in my head. Just recently, just thinking, I was okay, so when this country was founded, right, you had whatever founding fathers, George Washington, whoever you want to name off, there's only so many. So when they made these laws, these amendments, all these things, right from the beginning, they didn't let people of color vote or women. So when they're making all these decisions, they're not letting everybody have an opinion. So on top of that, they take all the positions of president, judge, executioner, law enforcement, lawyers, then they make the laws, then they take the council member, the mayors. They're in all these positions where they make decisions that affect everybody. Then I don't know how many hundreds, whatever years later, then they say, okay, women could vote, people of color could vote. But then it's like, damn, you created this whole system that we
gotta break down. It's like we gotta break down the system and the hazard signs that are stopping us from progress in those areas.
But to be realistic, so we're saying, was it Mexican folks, black folks, Asians, who set the system up?
Right.
If you look at it like that, like it wasn't even women. It wasn't even women.
Right. You know good and goddamn well, everybody with a wig on the Constitution had pale skin.
Yeah, but see, then I say it again though too. It's not for me a fight against white folks. It's just like accepting stuff and realizing that there's people that sympathize with what people of color are going through, and even it's even too. You gotta think about it. Even white women weren't allowed to vote. You know, this country was built on, I guess, the Caucasian male's opinion and how they felt things should be carried out. So, and I mean, that's just accepting it. It's not to hold it over someone's head, but just accepting facts because they don't want to teach that in school or whatever, or just until we're celebrating Columbus Day. And it's like, damn, like, how do we celebrate that? And now, mind you, Thanksgiving, horrible massacre.
Yeah.
But we still celebrate it as a family to get together because we love each other.
Mhm.
But then at the same time too, I gotta have that talk with my son to be like, hey, I know we're getting together as a unit and a family to just celebrate the love we have for each other.
Mhm.
But the underlying things to some of these things aren't all rosy and
That's
all.
right. These are not causes to celebrate.
Yeah.
There should be more memorials.
Yeah.
Actually, and observe this such actually. But you know, corporate America, this, you know, I filmed something today where I said the wealthiest lawmakers run this country and set it up to be passive aggressive, secretive, and fatal. They traffic you, they judge you, they deny you opportunities. They never tell you how to get better, how you can qualify, when to reapply. They never tell you what funding or training you can get in the meantime. Nothing. And our country, drug cartels. Why do people do drugs? Pain and stress, correct? Or to party, right? Drug cartels is the reason why you want to build a wall. We got meth dealers in America. Meth labs here. Hello? We got baby rapists, mass shooters, church bombers. And you want to build a wall because somebody outside next to this country have more drugs than we do. Or maybe cheaper drugs than we do. Duh, because they're illegal. Why do people do drugs? Because we stressed out. Why we stressed out? Because we broke, fool. Because you spending all the money on building a wall. Instead of public housing, education, free health care, boys and girls clubs, community centers, homeless shelters, women's health facilities, and Planned Parenthoods. You letting baby rapists get probation. You body slamming Sandra Bland over an 8.
That's the thing too, though. It's like I look at I gotta look deeper, but when I just glance at the amount of training, the way they just let anyone be a police officer.
Oh my God!
And I think
speak on it, Fonzo.
That should be like the most intricate, like most like we're hands-on going through everything, psychological test number 55.
Oh yeah. What? Oh my God. Speak on that.
Training, like all these things, like some kind of training to
they're failing these evaluations, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they should have this so like inclusive training to accept all colors and all these things, like the de-escalation training, like
yes.
all these things put in place to where,
or unarming training.
Yeah, and then here's the thing though too.
Disarm.
I'll throw this out there too. I do like a keto training with this guy, and he was training some of the Stockton police force at a time, like certain people, and so keto is a redirection of energy. It doesn't really focus on striking as much as like redirection energy to just it's like with Steven Seagal. Did you ever watch a Steven Seagal movie? He mixes it up with some striking, but there's so many holds and different things you can do to like immobilize somebody. I don't know if that's the right word, but without killing them, disarming people. Different holds you could use on people to detain them. And I just feel like every police officer should have some kind of keto training, because he was showing me holds to where he had me like on my stomach and he had my arm like this and he was sitting down on his butt and he could have been doing anything, just waiting for help to come. And if I was moving, there's these pressure points you got. All right, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
I let it go. It's gonna break.
I'm not gonna move.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it's like you don't want to use those excessively, but none of those had to do with the knee on the back of the head. Like and it goes back to this. We can do better. And so it's like, don't tell me I have to accept this. God chose me to be born here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that I have to leave and go somewhere else.
Right.
It means that I have to speak up and say, we can do better. And
Right.
so the thing I get from people is, if you feel like everything's working out great, have some kind of sympathy and empathy that if someone's saying, hey, we can fix things, that it's probably not working out for them. And just look past the fact that you want to have some kind of bias. And if things are working out for you, great. But just understand this. It's not working out great for everybody.
Right.
You know, people need help. If it's working out great for you and someone's speaking up about something, try to take it a little bit more serious, because there's been years of police brutality allegations. Right. I've had family members that have been beat up by police in Tracy, right? And there was no charges, nothing happened. You know, and this has been going on. This has been happening, and people go, like, they say, well, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence? And I don't want to get too extremes. Like, so do you want to like see a child being molested as evidence? Do you want to see the blood? Do you want to see the uterus getting pulled out? And then you go, oh, okay, that's enough evidence. Like, what evidence do you need? Like, that's what trips me out. Like, you know, all these, I can go on for days. Just, I know we could do better. So just back to what I was saying is there's ways to disarm people,
to disarm and
de-escalate, keep people there with simple Aikido holds that anyone could learn. And I don't know why they don't do that.
They don't, because they want to be licensed to kill, and we don't need officers like that. We want officers that want to be problem solvers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't want them to fire 22 shots into a sleepy Breonna Taylor when they could just shoot her boyfriend in the hand that's reaching for the gun. Or, like you say, put them in some type of pressure point hold or even restraint. A lot of people don't know this, but my second fiance was physically abusive. He was also trained in many martial arts. And one of the first fights that we had that he dared to put hands on me, one of the first things I did was just immediately try to bear hug him and prevent him from being able to strike at all. And I was 15 years old, a teenager in love, engaged to somebody who was a moron, obviously. But if I'm a 15-year-old music artist that teaches ballet and jazz and hip hop dance and goes to high school, and I can stop somebody from harming me, and I have the courage and the bravery to do that, why is it that you guys can't? I'm sure Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend did not have a gun, and if they did, there was a body cam in the building that we just discovered, and we demand to see the evidence. But if they were holding a gun, why you couldn't shoot them in the hand that had the gun? They can't obviously use that same hand to keep picking up the gun. It's gonna be hurt.
And I get, though, too, like, wanting to bust the bad guy for selling drugs, but when does it come to the part where you're going to kill somebody because you want to rid the world of a drug dealer? Is that the mentality you're going in there with? Because,
but also,
you know,
how do you know that there's nothing else about this person besides the fact that they got caught committing that crime that you want to kill them for?
Yeah.
How do you know that they don't have a whole life of something else?
Yeah.
But you caught them committing a crime, and so now you're destroying everything.
Yeah.
About them and their life and their character. Another question I have also is, you did elaborate a little bit on how Free Minds and how No More Kids in Cages is the music of Free Minds supports and promotes No More Kids in Cages. So is all the music on Free Minds protest children or No More Kids in Cages related, or do you have regular like mainstream radio music as well?
Yeah, I got, so my style is probably a mixture of positive music that can go towards I would say kind of spiritually influenced to where it's like encouraging music, talking about, believe in yourself. You can get it if you want. All you got to do is try. Power Your Mind's the next one that's going to come out. I got even a song. It's a party beat talking about not getting high, and it's like it's not talking about anybody that does or doesn't, but it's just trying to give kids options and other things to think about. That's because right. I realize we all grow up, and we're all forever growing up for our whole lives, and we all get to that turning point to where we're just trying to find ourselves, and there's so many different ways we can go, and I just think that whatever way we do decide, it's nice to always give options, especially if you have songs that say, hey, you can try this way too, and then whatever way you do try to go to do whatever, just obviously be nice to people, but a lot of my songs are just I got party songs, I got love songs, and I mean like love songs, like vulnerable, emotional, like I love you songs, like loving a woman songs, like relationship stuff, like exposing myself in songs, like that, bringing the 90s back now, like F you and all this. I got so many women stuff, which I mean, and once again, I don't say these things to speak on anybody that does or doesn't. I'm just saying from where I'm coming from is I'm just really exposing the love element, right, and trying to bring
you're giving them something else to celebrate besides trying to poison yourself through drugs or alcohol and experience things, what I'm saying, with negative influences. So it's more finding things to celebrate and positive messages, I see.
Yeah, and it's all right to love people. I mean, you got to love the right people, obviously, and we go through different things that we learn from relationships and people. So I basically put a lot of the love stuff into my lessons in love into songs. So I got a mixture of love songs. The album is actually called High Gravity, which is like a higher consciousness. The For the Kids is the first I would say like single release. Power Your Mind is gonna come out next. That was produced by Young Rick. He's a producer out here in
Stockton, California. That's a 209 producer out here.
Super talented.
Slap Zone, Young Rick.
Yeah, he's dope. I got the third one's I don't know. It's like You Don't Gotta Get High, Drugs. I don't know. I don't got an official name for it yet. But Shane Dog produced that one. He's another dope producer out here. We actually got a compilation album that's going to come out after High Gravity sometime next year. And that's got like Ben Chaos is on that, Mac a lot, Frontline, Big Lenzo. Man, there's going to be like just a wide range of 209 people on that one. So look out for that one too. But High Gravity should be out. I want to say the beginning, somewhere around January or February. Then we're going to do a High Gravity tour. I'm actually leaving tomorrow. About 10 hours on tour. It's a 9-city tour. We're gonna literally be driving, performing, then getting up the next day, driving, performing. We got like an off day, and some Misery's putting that together. It's a Hardly Sober tour too. So she'll be a part of the High Gravity tour. She's on my album too. We're gonna be shooting a music video.
That's right.
While we're out there for the song Gone on the Moon, she's featured on that one. So really looking forward to that. And meeting people, trying to.
Yes, networking is important. Networking is very, very important.
Yeah.
So y'all, please do look out for High Gravity and Power of the Mind. And this single here is called For the Kids. I want to give you a second. Is there anything that you feel like you really want to tell them? Y'all, please do use the hashtag No More Kids in Cages, especially when it comes to disbanding ICE and the youth detention camps and things like that, as well as I believe there's Save Our Children.
Yeah, Save Our Children. Yeah,
as opposed to Save the Children.
Yeah.
So Save the Children is being exploited and also branded and trended by people who don't have pure intentions and people who affiliate themselves with questionable corporations and authorities when it comes to child trafficking. So they have changed the hashtag to Save Our Children, and also with the, well, I don't want to tell you what I used to use, but anti-ICE and disbanding ICE slogans.
And here's the thing though, is if people go and they feel like abolishing ICE, disbanding ICE is too extreme, then come meet us on the middle ground to prove a case to you that we need an alternative, and if we need something better, like that's all there is to it. There needs to be something better.
Or to legalize immigration.
Yeah, and then like we had talked about the other day. If people are paying taxes, they're paying they got $5,000, $10,000 of proven taxes. They're already contributing to our country. That should already give them like, hey, this is a good person. Like they've been working, they're paying taxes. Like, you know, there should be some. Like, it just goes back to like we can do better. And
there should be some type of standard or some type of program that will work with immigrants and help them lead a safe life. And at least educate themselves or apply and work towards citizenship. Especially the ones who are fleeing countries due to war and gang-related activities, terrorist acts and cartels, as well as healthcare, trafficking of women, and you know, just even they have I want to say complained about the Mexican government, y'all, and policies and how they're running the states out there and the areas out there. So just know that there are issues that Mexican people can only fight if the government has a system in which the people can influence a change. If the government is overly oppressive and controls all the processes, you know how things work in America. You have to apply for a job and get approved and hired. They don't just give it to you. You have to earn the degree for 4 years, then walk the stage. They don't just give it to you. They gave like 2 music artists honorary PhDs. You know how rare that is? The country been here for hundreds of years. They don't give you things. So, and we have a smart, educated, modern technological system here that would allow progress. And other countries do not have that. And that's why they're fleeing to here. They have no way to make a change in their country. They need to come here and get someone to help them. Maybe help their whole country. But we don't know that because we deny them asylum. We take away their children and we lock them in cages. And we investigate them, their families, their intentions, as if they already committed a crime in front of us. Some of these families been here, like he said, paying taxes, working every year, paying that 9 cents on the dollar every time they get a McDouble. Every time they putting a dime into the taxpayers' pot, of which they don't get to dip into because you won't allow them to vote. You won't allow them citizenship.
See, but they're on top of that too. They're actually filing taxes. Mm-hmm. That's the crazy part about it. On top of, like you said,
and the income taxes, they're paying taxes on the revenue and profit that they make. All these landscapers that make $20,000, they have to pay 16% in California self-owned business tax. Yeah.
But I did want to say though, before you know, I'm doing like a big push on this love thing, like love yourself, take advantage of right now. You know, you hear like we got to be the change and stuff like that, and it's so true. Like these things, how we treat each other, you know, random acts of kindness, you know, saying good morning and hello, being kind to people.
This right
the
here,
door open, like
sitting down and talking to somebody.
Yeah, just being personable with people again. You see someone homeless, not just write them off because you think they're on drugs or whatever they might be. We don't know their story. you don't want to give them money, give them some food.
Yeah.
And even if you do give them money, it's not like you're giving them money like, here, bro, here's $10. I know someone's selling some dope. Like, if I ever gave somebody some money, it was like for them to get food or whatever, you know, just these random acts of kindness, like to go wake up and to think, what can I do for society? How can I be a service to the next person? Like, you see someone with their lights, their hazards on. Hey man, you all right? Like these things, like it's simple as this though. When
sometimes
you walk into the store,
they just need a phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need a ride to the gas station.
Yeah.
That's it.
You walk into the store, someone's coming behind you, hold the door open. You know, these are things, excuse me. And then here's the thing too, apologizing when you're wrong. But
you know what that does? That strengthens the care in the community.
Yeah, it does.
That makes people aware that there are people around me that care about the quality of my life.
Yeah.
And I should care about the quality of my life.
Yeah.
And how the people are in my life also.
Yeah.
That is absolutely 1000% correct. One of the things that you said, earlier, mental illnesses.
Yeah.
Mental illnesses and brainwashed racism, I call it, Somebody brainwashed you into being racist and thinking black is dirty or poor is uneducated.
Yeah.
Or because I talk like this, you know what I'm saying? I must not care about nothing in life. But in reality, I'm the most, everything in my life is so important to me down to the minute. You know what I'm saying? But that's because you have been brainwashed and mentally trained to generalize and make assumptions about people who don't serve your immediate needs.
And I think too, part of it is like accepting that we got this big world and then each person's a little world. Then you got another world and we're all colliding with each other, and we got to get outside of ourselves to accept the fact that we're all different. We're all at different levels. We all come from different backgrounds. Just what happened is one day we were born and we woke up somewhere, whether you woke up in a mansion,
that's right,
or you woke up in a field in a third world country.
That's right. You didn't have no control over it.
We just
you
woke
was
up.
Just born.
And if you woke up in a great place and everything's going your way, great, more power to you. But keep in mind that whatever you're going through is great. Some people don't have it like that. And then that's where it's like, the empathy comes in to trying to accept that there's all walks of life. Like we're all here. We got to figure out how to coexist, because the more we don't coexist,
right, the
more you think you're so above the problems. And eventually what happens is if you take so much away from people, the problems are going to find you somehow.
Right.
Because when it comes
no matter what you do, if you ignore somebody else's pain and you act like their world and their problems don't exist, you're contributing to the oppression that silences and ignores their needs. And you don't want to be that type of person. And regardless, like you just said, problems. Why do problems happen? Because they trickle down from somebody in power that is able, not allowing the problem to be solved.
Yep.
Not allowing other people to benefit. Yep. Not allowing other people to progress. Once you put yourself in that mind state as well, you know what? Other people don't matter. I'm not black. I don't got no kids. I never go to Mexico. So, don't you have money and a life and a future invested in this area? And you're not concerned that the mistreatment of innocent human beings, or human beings that have not even been proved or witnessed doing anything wrong in life, doesn't matter to you? What happens when all of them die? You're going to be next. You can't ignore shit like that. Passive-aggressive ignorance is aggressive ignorance. You can't do that. You have to support and you have to care about your community. And I just want to thank, I know you guys is not here. Y'all, we had so many viewers pop in and out on Facebook, 2 and 3 and 4 at a time. We're over 21 viewers on the overnight stream. And y'all, this has been amazing.
One thing though that I'm learning And I think it goes down to me realizing that I'm just a body with a spirit. So a lot of what I do as far as actions and how I treat others, whatever money I have, whatever clothes I do or don't have, it's not going to go with me. You know, my spirit's going to be forever. So I look and try to understand people that might be considered racist, intolerant, biased, people that don't care and are responsible for a lot of things. I still try to go, okay, well, dang, well, God still put this person here. And I know, like, I love my son. I love people that are nice to me. I love people that are good to me. You know, but here's the thing I'm trying to learn myself, that I think if I look at things on an eternal level and that I'm a spirit, how do I love my enemies? You know, how do I love my enemies, and how do I love the people that don't love me? Because when it's all said and done, and whatever you believe in, creator, God, Buddha, whoever you have to face, and you look that person in the eyes, hopefully you can tell them that you did your best, because they're not going to ask you, I doubt, how much money you made. They're going to ask about, I would
They're
think,
not going to ask you, you know,
how you treated others. How much did you love people? What did you contribute?
They're not going to ask you what's the greatest thing in your closet.
They're not going to say, did you get even?
You're right. They're
you know, so I would just say, if you're watching this, think about the people that you don't love or the people that don't love you, and figure out how to forgive them and love them. Because I think on the scheme of things, if I was to not make it a couple more days and I had all this house cleaning and all these things, I would hope that I was in the process of trying to let it go. And, you know, but I'm just learning myself too. It's all like a growth process.
Yeah, especially you know? in this field. We have a lot of white supremacists. There's no other word for it. They're elitists that believe, you know what I'm saying? That they're really better somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and they're gonna challenge you and insult you and call you dirty and all type of names. That's why I keep saying the word dirty. Somebody just called me that the other day. Called me a dirty ghetto B word. I was like, okay, but there's sanitizer right here and Lysol right there and all of that. Oh, okay.
I'm not laughing because it's funny, but it's just I had a guy, because social media is a trip. A guy had told me he doesn't care about the kids. They could all burn and go to hell. And I was like, damn, man. And I'm thinking, like,
you was a kid once, fool.
But this is what, like, we're up against. And I'm like, how could you? And it's one thing to say it in conversation. I was like, damn, you really typed that?
Yeah.
And you push post, and whoa, and it just made me think, damn, like, you really hope that they go to hell and burn and all it. And it made me go, man, that dude must be going through something in his head, because how could you say that? You know, but then it just makes me, I gotta go. I was like, man, but then, why did God create this fool like
but
this?
And then it also makes you wonder, though, what the fuck happened to him?
Yeah.
That made him not want positive and good things out of life.
Yeah. But here's the underlying thing that I realized, and it's not against nobody. I just try to find.
Thank y'all for the heart reactions.
Yeah. I reflect on things, and I was like, damn, why is it everybody that sees my shirt or goes against it or says they have the but what about? But what about? It's a mental illness, but what about? I was, but what about what? But what about Obama? They're always affiliated with a certain political party.
And then
whatever color they are, white, black.
Obama
Mexican,
not even here no more. No, he can't even do shit. Even if he wanted to, he'll have to get some money out of his bank account and go hire somebody to make a change.
I was like, they're gonna go dig up Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my God. Like, right, tell him and then tell you, look, he was a slave owner, he had slave babies, but he also signed the Emancipation Proclamation and was killed because of it.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was killed for protesting.
Where's Ronald Reagan at? We're gonna dig him up next.
Right. Like, what about
presidents we're gonna bring back to life? And
all the what if you can't hold and sustain an argument against a plight for justice by pulling out other factors that don't have to do with the current situation.
Deflection, projection. It's but what if I hate that? But what about mental illness? But
that's why I hate
when
I protest and when I stream the Black Lives Matter protest. They say, but what about You know what I'm about to say? Black on black crime.
But check this out.
What do you mean, but what about? We're protesting police that kill people and didn't get in trouble. Black on black crime. Some of them shooters go to jail.
They will
as teenagers and never get out.
No question asked. They're going to jail. There's going to be an investigation. They might have gang enhancements, anything else they could throw under it to where.
And they're labeled that for the rest of their life.
Yeah, man.
They don't get to retire with a pension.
No, they don't get reassigned. They don't send them to another neighborhood. You know, or, you know what I mean? Straight up, like it's crazy.
Come on, I like that, man. I like that. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. But yeah, go back to what you're saying. They bring in political agendas and political parties.
It's the sports team mentality at a level of politics where politics and the policies and all these things, they affect all our lives, to where it's like it's gang culture too. They want to say about black gangs, Mexican gangs, whatever gangs, but then it's a sophisticated gangs. We're sophisticated. We're Republicans, Democrats,
right?
And we're gonna stay affiliated with our political gang at all costs.
Man,
you know, and
we're the Medicare club. We're gonna make sure Medi-Cal's cut off and you only get Medicare.
Yeah.
As Republicans, like what? What you mean as Republicans?
Yeah.
Y'all are proposing a bill. What you mean? I thought you were our state Senate.
Yeah.
What you mean the Republican Party? What you mean Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Cray, and Senator McCray have the Democratic Party have proposed the CARES 2 Act or the HEROES Act? What do you mean? Those are state senators. Just because they vote Democrat or they're from a Democratic Party? He's a senator of a state, not a Democrat. There's no Democrat community where they go hang out and have tea every day. There's Democrat organizations in every city and state. You can't go on vacation to Democrat City. The fuck? Democrat Party proposes shit. No, you propose something and the BS Republican or Democrat belief systems and previous laws that they supported have you brainwashed to think you still have to represent those old laws to remain a Democrat or Republican. That you turn into a liberal or a progressive. And that a Democratic or Republican Party is defined by the types of laws they allow and don't allow. No, it's not. A Democratic and Republican Party was already defined when they became a political party that meets together and represents the needs of the people and proposes bills and laws.
And see, the thing too is, like we have whatever system we have in place, right? There's a vote, electoral college, all these things. And I know I see both sides of it. I haven't been a big participant in voting. Right, because I almost fell into that category of it doesn't work. But here's the thing: I started to realize in the last I don't know how many months, it does work, but it's working for the people that are participating. Yeah, you know, we haven't showed up in enough numbers
in groups. That's right.
Like numbers, like if you look at the majority of voters, they're 60 and over, and they're white. You know, so if we don't vote and we say it doesn't work, and we're not doing anything to change it, the system is going to continue to work for the people that are showing up because it was set up that way. You know,
but you heard what he said. Majority of voters are over 60 years old and white.
Yeah.
And do you know that minorities and especially black people have been recorded of not living that long, especially when the police shoot you?
Yeah. And I think that if we like put numbers up to say, man, like 80% of people voted and we use the system, because I don't even know. People say it's not just the presidential election, it's the sheriffs, the district attorneys, the superintendents, the mayors, the council people. Like, yeah, the president matters, but at the same time too, if we're not even registering to vote, if you just register to vote and don't vote on the presidential election, at least vote on everything else. At least you get in the habit of participating, because not participating, in my opinion, no offense, and you're going to go online, voting, yes, you want to make educated votes, but it's not like you're gonna be digging ditches and stuff like that. It's more of a mental thing to be involved in. And if you don't vote, you don't vote. But I just feel like that. I feel like, remember, this is my opinion. That if we don't participate, the system will continue to flourish with the people that are participating.
That's
like
right.
I said earlier too. Now, I mean, it's not a race thing to be racist or biased, but if you look at how our system in America was created, okay, we'd say it's white males, and they implemented a system to vote, and they're going to vote. Period. You know what I mean? They could care less if we participate or not. In the census, all these things, because they know that until we can like literally say, man, 80% of us showed up to vote. How did you still get your way? It's never got to that point because we're just not showing up. So, you know.
That's right. So over 60 and white is the majority of voters. We want to change that, revolutionize that this year, and make it majority ages 18 to 40.
Yeah.
Working, tax-paying, income tax filing Americans. And I would like for y'all to keep in mind that these 60-year-old voters that are voting now, they probably voted 20, 30, 40 years ago on the Social Security and the health care that they're enjoying now. We need to do that because the way it's set up now, you can go to any business class in the United States, any economics class in the United States of America now, in the past 5 years, they will tell you our Social Security tax that we pay for our Social Security receivers' income is going to run out. It's not enough money going into that to sustain and support all of these babies and generations of babies in the next 20 to 30 years. They're going to run out. It's important that we do something now. Y'all, we are going to play the full song for you guys for the kids, but I just want to say thank you to Fonzo again, y'all. This was an amazing interview and all of that, and I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the song onto the screen for them, and we'll go ahead and wrap it out. So they're still gonna be able to hear us for these 5 minutes. But I'm gonna take a smoke break, and then we will be right back. So y'all, please enjoy without further ado the full version of For the Kids. This will be muted on the replay.
The world needs you, lover. The world needs you, peacemaker. Without you, in trouble. The world needs you, dreamer. The world needs you, lover. The world needs you, peacemaker. Without you, in trouble. I'm just trying to live. Yeah, I'm just trying to live it every day. I'm just trying to live. Let's be free. Let's be live. Trying to live. Get something to give. I just want to leave a better way for the kids. I just want to live it every day. I just trying to live.
You can't keep saying that.
Right. He's gonna catch a budget. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the right thing, bro.
They're gonna start listening to that shit.
The world needs you, lover. The world needs you, peacemaker. Without you, we get trouble. The world needs you, dreamer. The world needs you, lover. The world needs you, peacemaker. Without you, we get trouble.
Nobody understands why I live and why I breathe. For the world and for my seed, for my family, righteous things. I'm a messenger, a reminder of a lost way. Remember me for what I tried and not mistakes that I came and I saw. I pushed like I was pissed off. I tried everything you ever thought would come. A little bit of everything. Look at the crowd I bring. Misfits and hustlers.
Whatever happens to me, I got 5 years in there. It's here.
Listen to the song and say, I just want to play for peace. Lord, if he set it free. Enjoy a little scenery and live out all my dreams. Martin Luther King, no, but listen to the song I sing.
This is for to keep you updated and focused. Recap what we just did. Get your energy for your next week. You know? You do the right thing. There's people out here who bring yourself.
I just wanna leave a better way for the kids. Also, all heart, all
unable to park in the water with sharks, open wounds unharmed. I'm a prophet, I'm a saint, I'll be a martyr one day, a father first before anything. Every day I pray, these kids need guidance, a little love, it's not science. Can't teach my son quick, so every second I'm trying. I never see the pearly gates. Lord help me find my way. These drugs got me thinking everything is okay. Look at the crowd I bring, drug dealers, dreamers, and family. All nothing, I don't have any friends. The cops will shoot first and put you down in the dirt. Nobody can to prove if that's what you deserve. It's crooked and it's nasty, corrupt if you ask me. So focus on bills, can't see the Lord passing on my bridge. Follow me, the world can have all of me. My heart beats humanity, surrounded by insanity.
I'm just trying to live in every day, give the best of me. I'm just trying to live, let me breathe, let me live. I'm just trying to live, get something to give. I just want to leave a better way for the kids. I'm just trying to live in every day, give the best of me. I'm just trying to live, let me breathe, let me live. I'm just trying to live, get something to give. I just want to leave a better way for the kids.
The world did you dream of? The world did you love of? The world did you peacemaker? Without you we in trouble. The world did you dream of? The world did you love of? The world did you peacemaker? Without you we in trouble.
Black and brown or white or whatever your color, just against them, swerving undercovers on the hustle. Couple dollars leaves a plot for tomorrow. I wanna be a better man, but a pill I still swallow. Blame the government, but blame yourself too. No matter how corrupt, you still gotta push through. Politicians help friends get elected. Oh, favors black president or not. Our world is still racist. Better yourself, learn more, free your mind. Pick up a book and the answers you will find on the search for peace is the start of a new life. All change comes first from your inside.
I'm just trying to live in every day, give the best of me. I'm just trying to live.
I had this song. It's not hella old, but it's one of the it's like it stood the test of time. I mean, like everything I said, I added a third verse, like not too long ago, but the verse, like it was relevant.
The world did you dream of? The world did you love of? The world
That's the thing though about things like this. When you realize an issue, the change is slow. You know, and you gotta keep fighting it before it's not an issue anymore. But usually it's because something else becomes an issue.
The world did you love all? The world did you peacemaker? Without you we in trouble.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. I love y'all. You're beautiful. Your soul is beautiful. Your energy is positive. You're important to me, your community, your family, and your friends. Thank you for being here. Y'all, once again, this is the Cherry Franklin Show.